Hey guys, what's up? It's Jay here, starting up a new little, I guess, project you could call it. I'm doing an entire month of new builds on KSP, one a day. Pretty much, the plan was, do one build a day and put a video up on it. Originally, it was supposed to start at the absolute beginning of June. Unfortunately, things kind of got a bit delayed with editing and recording and all that. Uh, was a bit sick this past week, but that's all over now, so we can start on with it. I have a few days to make up, unfortunately. Anyways, so decided to start here with the space plane because I'm notoriously bad at building space planes, and kind of the whole objective of this project, if you will, was to get better at doing things that I'm bad at in KSP, and one of those is space planes. So yeah, kind of the goal for this particular one was just build a cargo space plane capable of delivering about one orange tank worth of fuel. I forget what it's called, the 64 Rockomax 64 tank, um, to act as a bit of a way to refuel things. And this is the first iteration you're seeing here. And foolish me used the dumb uh, large wings that are meant for like cargo planes and stuff on a space plane, which don't really work all that well for SSTOs because as you get up to speed, they overheat and explode, and it's a bit of a nightmare. I suppose you could probably get away with them if you could get above most of the atmosphere before getting up to speed, but how this particular space plane's ascent profile worked didn't really allow for it. So this ended up being a failure ultimately, this particular iteration. But I think I went through about 6 or 7 wing designs, and eventually you'll see the last iteration. But I figured I'd just show off, early version. This is kind of the first test flight. Yeah, it also has that side effect of wanting to rip itself to shreds when you take off. I don't know what caused that exactly. Eventually, I was able to sort that out. I don't know how. I think it had something to do with the large wings, but there was a version with those old large wings that didn't rip itself to shreds. The one upside to this version, though, was that it could carry lots of extra liquid fuel, but yeah, you're gonna see here in a moment, it's just gonna explode and rip itself to shreds. Anyways, moving right along, we have the pretty much the final iteration of the space plane. You can see there, I replaced uh, the wings with the more standard modular wings, and I added these vertical stabilizers in the back, and I believe, oh yeah, I swapped out the front canards with something a little more stable, but the main core design remained the same. Also added docking ports, solar panels, all that other wonderful RCS stuff. And anyways, I believe this was the test flight after all the final changes were made. And yeah, so it went well. There was about 6 hours of footage to sift through for this, and some of it didn't get marked correctly, unfortunately. So I'm pretty sure this is the final test flight, but it could have been one of the earlier ones. Pretty much all I did after a certain point, once I got to about this design, was just kind of tweak the placement of a few things here and there. But I think I had it nailed down in the last hour. Anyways, so in the cargo bay, we are carrying a single uh, orange tank with a probe core and I believe an SAS module, as well as the grapple so that it can connect to things and refuel them without having a need for the docking port. Although there is a docking port on the back, so it is kind of its own independent ship. It has no thrusters other than the liquid fuel and oxidizer RCS thrusters. So yeah, but all things worked out. It was able to make it up to orbit with I think 200 or 300 meters per second worth of delta V. I don't remember exactly, and I'm looking at this footage and I can't quite read the number, unfortunately, because the preview in Sony or in Vegas Pro is just meh. But you know, it gets the job done. It gets there. Pretty much like, again, like I said earlier in the video, the whole purpose of this kind of exercise of a month of building was to get better at building. Space planes was one of them, but just a bunch of other stuff, as well as later on, I'm going to get into some more interstellar stuff and building interstellar ships and that or not interstellar. What am I saying? Not interstellar. That would be going to other stars. That would be great, but unfortunately not in KSP. At least not in the base game. No, interplanetary is what I meant. Yeah, anyways. You can see we're undocking and unloading the fuel tank. Boom, boom. You know, nice big fuel tank. Yeah, so it does its job. When it's empty, it can get to orbit with about 1,300 meters per second. So it wouldn't be all that difficult to like throw in like a not a cargo pod, but like a what are they called? Those hitchhiker cans, the ones that carry all the Kerbals that get used on stations. So you could easily throw one of those in there for using it as a passenger transport. Although I wouldn't suggest it, as I found out something very interesting about the flight profile. And I don't know why it's like this. So as I was coming in, as you could see, it tumbled. And this kind of freaked me out. Now, fortunately, I discovered an interesting thing about the aerodynamics of this particular craft. It's actually able to fly in reverse. Obviously not like powered flight, because we have no forward-facing thrusters. But it's pretty stable. The only way I was actually able to get it to flip back forward so I can turn on the engines was by opening up the drogue chutes early and using them to generate enough drag on the back of the craft to flip it over, and you know, a little RCS here and there. But yeah, it's I'm gonna try at some point to land this dead stick in reverse. I think it would be interesting. But yeah, I was actually impressed with this, that it is actually relatively stable when flying in reverse, and it doesn't just rip itself to shreds or just become completely uncontrollable. It's partially probably due to the SAS modules I have in those side fuel tanks there, but who knows. Yeah, at some point in the future, I'm also going to try to retrieve something from orbit, much like the space shuttle did with that one satellite. And anyways, here we go. We have our landing. I was able to get it down relatively slow, although I wish I could get it down a lot slower for a landing, and I missed airstrip and all that. But you know, for a first day, first effort, I would say this is a success, and I'm gonna be uploading the next video tomorrow. I have a, what would you call it, a space tug or whatever coming up. Anyways, if you guys want to see more of this, remember to like, follow, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.